Hi guys, and welcome to Unapologetic. Today we have a very spicy topic, as something that I mentioned earlier in this year has now come back to haunt us. In April of this year, I did a video on Dylan Mulvaney, a trans TikToker who identifies as a girl, not a woman, a girl. It's very important considering Dylan Mulvaney is a grown man, but Dylan is back in the news after being invited as a pivotal person at the Forbes Summit for Women. Let's get into it. So guys, sometimes we predict things, even though we don't know we're predicting them. And you know what? I feel like I predicted a little something here. I had a feeling this name was going to pop back up in the news at some point or another when I made my initial podcast about Dylan Mulvaney. For those of you who don't know about this podcast that I did, let's give a little history lesson because it was a little spicy, as I said in my intro to this. I found Dylan Mulvaney's account on TikTok because it was getting recommended to me. And this was Dylan making videos titled, day 1 of being a girl, day 11 of being a girl, all the way up to whatever day it is now. And Dylan was getting millions and millions of views. At the time, I believe Dylan had maybe a couple million followers on TikTok. Checking in now, Dylan has 7.9 million followers on the platform that is TikTok. At the time that we covered Dylan, he was getting Tampax sponsorships and talking about girlhood, being featured on Good Morning America for this journey. And I approached the subject matter, I think, very respectfully. Here is the title of the podcast we did, Viral Trans TikToker response to my podcast. This is the second episode we did on Dylan Mulvaney. And during this episode, I went through Dylan's videos, reacted to them in what was a very respectful manner, even decided to acknowledge Dylan's pronouns and just talk about some of the concerning themes that I saw popping up in the videos and something that was concerning about a trans TikToker identifying as a girl going as viral as Dylan was becoming and what that encourages for a younger generation. Dylan did not like hearing the fact that we did a podcast about this whole journey and ended up making a video on TikTok
that is about
haters.
Long. And her main overall point that she was trying to make concerning me, Dylan, was that why can't Dylan just be a feminine man? And why can't, some women be masculine women? Why do we have to allow trans people to exist?
Okay, so this was the summation of my points, apparently. Even though Dylan says in this video, I did not watch her podcast and I will not watch her podcast, somehow knew the points that I made in the podcast through watching some sort of sizzle reel. I would say that is by no means a summation of the points made in the podcast, but nonetheless, this video got 6 million views, which is the reason we have like 3 stars on Spotify, and I got all these haters. I got probably thousands of hate messages, death threats, you name it. I was getting sent to my inbox, and I still get them to this day for this subject matter alone. And what we covered was a very, very respectful and kind podcast given the subject matter. And I warned to the people watching, it's something about this, something about making somebody who is, subscribed to this ideology, encouraging this ideology, even with young children, as Dylan has stated in videos prior to this one, that's concerning. That's the sign of a problem within our society. This is not something that we should be upholding as a successful life or something that people should be trying to achieve. That's not to say that Dylan is not a perfectly nice person who has perfectly kind dreams and endeavors that he's willing to go on and take into account and dedicate his life to. That's not to say that. I'm talking about the idea of gender theory, promoting that with kids, promoting being a grown man, in my opinion, who identifies as a girl. These are problematic things, whether or not we want to admit it or not. And it turns out that little episode that we talk about would come to be true, and only months later. We made that in April, and now it is September. And look at this tweet here. The Forbes Women's Summit invited this person to speak. This is what Forbes thinks of women. This was tweeted out by Matt Walsh. We've seen other people in the space of politics, social commentary, cultural commentary, talking about this. Forbes Women's Summit, which is hosted by, of course, Forbes, and annually invites a group of influential women to come together every year to talk about the issues that our society is facing, talk about the issues that women are facing in order to build a more equitable future. We know we don't like the word equitable, but nonetheless, that's what they come together to talk about. And for the most part, we've seen really big names come to this. Barbie Ferreira is going to be was at the Women's Summit this year. Blake Lively, who's doing lots of work in human trafficking, was going to be at the Women's Summit this year. Chloe Kim, you can sort of scroll through this and see what I believe to be a lot of influential women. And right here we have Dylan Mulvaney, who, just because they identify as a woman, apparently gets to go to the Forbes Women's Summit and be the arbiter of what are supposed to be truths about womanhood, about, the lives that you and I lead, to all the women who are watching at home right now. And I just want to show a video, and the video in particular that Matt Walsh tweeted out, of what this means. This is Dylan Mulvaney. Here's a TikTok.
Day 66, being a girl, and today I'm in nature. Trees, I love them. Water, lakes, I love them. Heels, they're my hiking heels. I love them. Okay, come on.
We don't really need to watch much more of that. It's much more of saying this, I love it, this, I love it, this, I love it. And some of you might see that and go, well, it's a perfectly positive video. I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. What becomes wrong with this video is that this is meant to be a depiction of what girlhood is. I'm confused, because to me, it seems like somebody going, I identify as a woman, let's change the hair up, let's put a little bit of makeup on, let's put on a womanly outfit and some heels and go gallivant around in nature, and then say that this is day X of being a girl. It is quite literally a caricature of womanhood. And to think that you can put on these characteristics and then say, I'm a woman, and then not only that, go forward to represent women at the Forbes Summit, blows my mind. And it's not really at the fault of Dylan, because, who's not going to take an opportunity placed at their feet, especially for a group that you identify with? It's on the people who think that this is good for women, who think that this is extending an olive branch to womanhood and feminism and femininity, because it is not. We looked at the show earlier of a trans teacher, and I do want to pull up this picture, and I hope I can find it, of a trans teacher in Canada who's in a shop class with just boobs out to here, prosthetic boobs out to here, a blonde wig, moving around these students, teaching these students, and saying this is what womanhood looks like. It is a caricature, and Andrew Sullivan puts it really well in this tweet here. What's fascinating to me is that this is, again, a parody of being a woman, a pantomime of extreme gender stereotypes, and this is now progressivism, the mockery of being female. It very much is. You think that putting on a little sports outfit and heels out in nature and acting girly and giggling is what makes you a girl and what gives you the right to represent women? And, we sort of made the prediction that having somebody like Dylan Mulvaney be famous, even though they might be a perfectly kind person, is not a good thing for society. We made the prediction in that show. Let's make another prediction now. We're going to look back on this time of giving men women's accolades and saying, run with it, do whatever you want, join the women's swim team, come into the women's locker room, actually join the female entrance at the spa and come in there as a biological man, go to the Forbes Summit for Women as a biological man. We're going to look back on this time and go, what were we thinking? Allowing the patriarchy to persist in this way, allowing biological men to take the accolades and spaces of women. And since when did this become sort of like, I don't even want to call it right wing, but a fight that was outside of progressivism? Women used to be the victims of progressivism. Progressives used to say, women are the ones that we need to care about. They are the victims of today's age. These are the people we need to advocate for. They are being oppressed. They are the ones who are being held down by patriarchy. And now what? Men just get to take our spaces and do whatever it is they like. So I just wanted to give you that bit of news, give you my opinion on it. As you can probably tell, I'm not pro this decision. I'm not pro Forbes inviting somebody like Dylan Mulvaney to be an advocate for women across the United States or across the world. And I'm not pro biological men pantomiming being women. And, I took a lot softer stance on this stuff in the initial podcast that I made, and you guys can go and check that out. But it's just, we're getting to levels of clownery that just cannot be met with kind regard anymore. We have to start, saying, this is not okay, and here's why. Those are my thoughts. Drop your thoughts down below. Is it okay to have somebody like this advocating on behalf of women at the Forbes Summit for Women? And what's the next step from here? Because we only go up from here. We go up from being famous on TikTok to Tampax sponsorship to Forbes Summit for Women to then what? You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. That's our video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time we post a new video for you guys. And my goodness, isn't it a good day to be a woman? Bye, guys.